Hello, this is Reginald Wallace, the founder and owner of Wallace Consultant Group, LLC, with a discussion on management, and the subject of this video is skin in the game. I'm going to start with a reading from Sun Tzu's The Art of War. And here we are. What does Sun Tzu say? The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. Now, this relates directly to having skin in the game in terms of setting a standard of attitude and mentality. When he talks about courage, having everyone in your business on the same page with you, understanding how much is at stake, and being willing to go the extra mile in order to get things done. Now, I speak from not only knowledge from my educational point of view, but also from experience that has been the biggest problem I've seen with disharmony in a business is not seeing superiors pass on to subordinates the need for things to be done a certain way and to let them see how much skin they have in the game. Many times the superiors and the upper management people see the need and they have the skin in the game, but the lower level people in a company tend to walk around not quite on the same page. What you want as a manager, as a boss, as an owner, is to have everyone in your business on the same page with you. And that's where we talk about charismatic leadership, transformational leadership, transforming and creating the organizational culture rather than letting it take form on its own, but guiding the ship, taking the bull by the horns as a boss, as an owner. And the one saying I'll repeat to you is, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Now, in The Prince, Machiavelli's book, he says it's better to be feared than loved as a ruler. Maybe because he felt that you want to get things done, and the point is not so much how people feel about you, but whether they do what you want them to do and what they must do. Absolutely, that is a big deal. But you do not want a one-sided, slanted kind of management style where everything is about only progressive discipline and instilling fear in the hearts of your subordinates, but you're not positively motivating them and developing any sense of loyalty out of them. That's not going to work. And I've been in the workforce for over 30 years, and as a manager and as a subordinate, I do not ever see it work. When people do not want to work, you can scare them, you can punish them, you can threaten them, but in the end, you're going to wear yourself and them out with threats and warnings and fear instilling in their hearts, but not really positively motivating them. The best companies that you hear about in this country and in the world have a more positive approach, and they get way more out of their employees with the honey than you ever could with the vinegar approach. And if you look it up, if you read up on the most profitable and the companies that people most covet to work for, desire to work for, and enjoy working for, that they're willing to do more for their bosses and for their companies, it's more of the honey approach than the vinegar approach. We used to deal with this in college. As an MBA student, there were theory X and theory Y. And one theory had to do with all people are lazy and you had to put fear in them and make them do and micromanage them and ride them. The other theory is people want to do well, they just needed to be motivated. I side more on the side of motivating people rather than scaring them to death all the time. I do believe you need to have both. You need to be respected. You should not tolerate disrespect. You have to have things done. People cannot be in your place of business, as employees, as associates, doing whatever they want and teaching others to do the same. That's not acceptable. But you have to break the ice and set the tone and be a boss on a real level. And that means really running the ship and guiding the ship, not just in terms of the actions of the employees, but of the mentality. And in that way, you want to set the example with your positivity. And you want your attitude to rule the business, not the attitude of a rebellious, stubborn, uninspired, unmotivated subordinate. But you want to rule in every way, including your mentality and attitude. And that needs to be positive and proactive, and let everyone know, as I was saying, how much skin they have in the game. People need to see that they are in a war for their financial lives. They need to know and understand every day they come in there, and you as a boss cannot lose sight of that fact either, that you are literally fighting for your financial lives every day. You are in a war, and you need to have your employees and associates motivated just like troops, as I mentioned in Sun Tzu's The Art of War. And I'll repeat that same quotation. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. Now that's leadership for you. That's being a good soldier and fighting the battles. And you really do want to get loyalty out of your subordinates and out of your associates. Everyone that works for you, you want loyalty. And it needs to be, like Malcolm X said, by any means necessary, within the bounds of law and ethics and morality, and being clean in everything you do and say, keeping your nose clean. You need to do whatever it takes to get your employees' loyalty if they're going to work for you. You want them to be motivated. You don't want to have to feel like you have to crack the proverbial whip every single time there's anything that needs to be done. That you have to use sharpness or a nasty tone, or make threats, verbal threats. Okay, that's not how you want to run a business. You want people to work with you and understand the need from the core of their being. That's the key to being a good manager and running a successful business. So I'm going to leave this subject where it is for now, but I will have more commentaries on this subject.